ESPN doesn't want you to see this. But Kendrick Perkins just made the biggest blunder of his entire career. And it's all because he decided to come for Luka Dončić.
ESPN is trying all they can to hide this.
Oh, but Luka fired back in the most disrespectful way possible.
ESPN is trying all they can to hide this.
But hold on. It gets so much worse. Wait till you hear who Perk actually compared Luka to. This man woke up one day and chose career destruction on live TV. And I need you to really understand why this hits different. So on April 2nd, Luka Dončić goes down in the first half. Loss against OKC. Grade 2 left hamstring strain. Now let's be clear about something. A grade 2 hamstring strain is not a minor thing. This is a serious soft tissue injury. The kind that shuts most players down for the rest of the season. Full stop. But here's where it gets crazy. The Lakers coaching staff actually cleared Luka to come back in that same game. Same game. Already decided. And Luka came back, played 4 minutes, spun on his leg, grabbed it, and went straight down again. They put a hurt man back into a game that was already over. Let that sink in for a second. And we are absolutely coming back to that. Because the way Perkins framed all of this? Genuinely unhinged. So the Lakers move forward without Luka. They actually beat Houston in round 1. Solid result, respect where it's due. But then OKC, the defending champs, came in and swept them. 4-0. Clean. And that's the moment Kendrick Perkins decided to do something truly embarrassing.
ESPN is trying all they can to hide this.
And then Perkins actually said it. Luka is starting to get into that territory of Joel Embiid. And the second those words left his mouth, the internet destroyed him. One fan said Kendrick Perkins straight up lost his mind for putting Luka and Embiid in the same sentence. Another fan said something that actually stopped me. This is one of those takes that's supposed to be a diss but ends up being praise because the comparison is just that dumb. And honestly, that second fan was onto something really big. Something I really want to dig into. But wait, because Perkins wasn't finished.
ESPN is trying all they can to hide this.
He actually said it with his chest. He's available. On television. No hesitation. And here's why that's so disrespectful it's almost funny. This same season, Luka Dončić averaged 33.5 points per game across 64 games and won the NBA scoring title. He beat out Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Anthony Edwards to claim his second scoring title. He was named Western Conference Player of the Month for March. The Lakers went 53-29, grabbed a top 4 seed, and Luka was the sole reason that was even possible. And this is the guy Perkins compared to Joel Embiid. So let's talk about what that comparison actually means. Because this isn't just a bad take. It's a reckless one. Joel Embiid is the most notoriously absent franchise player in modern NBA history. So when you put Luka in that same sentence, what you're really saying is that a guy who just led the entire league in scoring and played 64 games cannot be counted on. And the LeBron comment? That's doing something very specific. It's using LeBron's health as a dig at Luka while completely ignoring the fact that LeBron needed Luka to even get them there. So what Perkins actually did was take a player who got hurt in a game the coaching staff arguably never should have let him return to, and turned it into a character assassination. 3 days after elimination. Now let's look at the actual numbers before this hamstring situation. Before this season, Luka had played 55 out of 58 possible playoff games. That's nearly 95% availability. For a guy who carries the entire offense every single night, that's absolutely insane. Sideline reporter Ashley Nicole Moss went straight to Twitter and said Luka isn't even in the same zip code, area code, or time zone as Embiid when it comes to missing time. And let's not forget what Perk loves to bring up, that Luka was supposedly out of shape during the 2024 finals. Wild take, considering the man was playing through a chest contusion, a sprained knee, and an ankle held together by tape and pure will. He was literally taking pain-killing injections to the chest before tip-off just to breathe. And what did he do? He led the entire postseason in points, rebounds, assists, steals, and minutes. If that's what out of shape looks like, someone needs to put the whole league on that same program immediately. And when Luka does miss time, he comes back like he's got something to prove. Remember 2022 against Utah? He missed the first 3 games with a calf strain. People were already writing the Mavs off. Then Luka walked back out for Game 4, dropped 30 and 10 like it was nothing, and dragged Dallas all the way to a Game 7 against the number 1 seed Phoenix Suns. He scored as many points as the entire Suns team in the first half. Finished with 35 in 30 minutes. He and Spencer Dinwiddie became the first teammates to each drop 30 in a Game 7 since Shaq and Kobe in 2002. Are we seriously comparing this guy to players who look for reasons to sit out? Same story in the 2024 Western Conference Finals against Minnesota. Luka was limping on a sprained knee and still averaged 32 points, 9 boards, and 8 assists to take home the Magic Johnson WCF MVP trophy. So for Perkins to weaponize a legitimate grade 2 hamstring tear and act like Luka has a habit of quitting on his team? That's not analysis. That's just wrong. Now let's actually talk about Embiid since Perk wants to go there. Joel Embiid is the only MVP in NBA history to never reach the conference finals. Read that again. 10 seasons. An MVP. A max contract. 4 All-Star appearances. And not once has he gotten past the second round. Through 55 playoff games, Luka shot 46.1%. Embiid across 66 playoff games averaged 24.8 points on 45.9% shooting. As a 7-footer, nobody asks the question that actually ends this whole debate. Has Embiid ever missed 3 games hurt, come back, and tormented the number 1 seed? Has he ever been down 18 on the road in a conference finals and hit a go-ahead 3 over the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in the final seconds to steal the game? Because Luka did that. And to be fair, Embiid is genuinely talented. On a healthy floor, very few players are more dominant. But that's not even the argument. The argument is that this comparison is so specifically wrong that it tells you everything about how Perkins was approaching this. Not with facts. With feelings. He saw a superstar miss the playoffs with a soft tissue injury and his brain just short-circuited. No availability stats. No historical context. No playoff data. Just a vibe, a microphone, and enough Wi-Fi to do real damage. Predictably, the internet cooked him alive. Fans pulled up the 55 of 58 stat instantly. People were posting Luka's 2024 finals numbers next to Embiid's career playoff averages side by side. Someone made a graphic of every series Embiid exited early next to every series Luka closed out. It wasn't even close. Perkins was getting dragged in real time. And then he did the thing that tells you exactly who he is. Within 48 hours, he went on his own podcast, Road Trippin', and said,
ESPN is trying all they can to hide this.
He couldn't even hold his ground for 48 hours. The second the fan reaction hit, he folded. Completely. And honestly, that should bother you more than the original take. Because at least a bad opinion can come from real conviction. What Perkins did was throw something at the wall, watch it crash, and then pretend he never threw it. That's not analysis. That's not debate. That's just noise. And the fact that he gets a platform to make that noise every single day, while Luka is out here posting historic numbers through real, painful injuries, is a whole conversation on its own. But here's what most people are missing. This wasn't a one-time thing. This wasn't even a bad day. When I dug deeper into this, a clear pattern showed up. Kendrick Perkins has been on Luka's neck specifically for almost 2 years straight. Let's go back to May 2025. Lakers just lost to Minnesota in round 1. And Perkins gets on First Take and says, with a straight face, that Luka Dončić is the worst defensive star we have seen in the modern era.
ESPN is trying all they can to hide this.
And here's where it gets truly wild. Even Stephen Smith paused. Stephen Smith. The man who has built an entire career on hot takes. The king of loud, dramatic, over-the-top sports opinions. Even he stopped and said, I really don't think you.
ESPN is trying all they can to hide this.